Capitol, they're scheming in the night, selling out our freedoms for a pocket full of spite. From the border to the heartland, the wolves are at the door, twisting truth and tearing down what our fathers fought before. But I'm a patriot source, standing tall and true, with a Bible in my hand and old glory flying blue. Ain't apologizing for loving this land. We'll fight the forces of evil with fire in our stand. God bless the USA, we'll never back down. Patriots for freedom, wearing that crown.
What's up?
Well, what's going on, everybody? So
Probably the roughest start we've ever had to a podcast, which means
At
it's probably
least
going to be
in
the
months.
best we've ever had, right?
yeah, but usually when we have technical difficulties like that, we actually end up having a pretty good show. But Patriot Dad is usually here, so we thought we'd change it up. So we've got a candidate that we're going to do a final sort of message interview with here in just a little bit, but it's a pretty serious position. That's why I didn't want to go with the unsupervised intro video. That's kind of, fooling around, monkeying around type of thing. But folks, Patriot Dad has abandoned us again tonight. What is this, like 3 out of 5?
We need to reassess our employee situation because we always joke about getting fired, and maybe we aren't the ones that need to worry about getting fired, Patriot Dad.
Yeah. So you're right. It is unsupervised, but like I said, we've got a pretty serious interview that we're going to do, and I didn't want to monkey around with with the intro. Besides, we did the unsupervised intro on Friday, and when you came up, Patriot Dad was here. So now I just don't think it really means as much as it used to, but here we
What?
go. So,
That's still my favorite intro. It's still the best intro. Sorry.
So funny story, right? So I've got a and I hope, hey, guarding the grid, back office team, listen up real quick. All right. I want you to listen. Where's MAGA Jake? Where's guarding the grid? If you can see me, put a thumbs up in the chat. So one of my good friends, he's a British expat. He's been in the country for about 20 years now. He lives down in Tampa. He's watched every episode. He loves our podcast. He was blown away with the audio and the work, the media that you guys are doing. In fact, he's the one that wants to help us do merch. So we need to set up a call with him sometime this week. He's got a whole plan for it to drop ship all this stuff. So we could have merch, but I want to get them. I want to get the back office guys and their design capabilities connected with my buddy, and then we'll get that all sorted out. So that's going to happen.
I have a question for your buddy. I need to know who the favorite podcaster is of the group. Who's your favorite?
It's me. He barely knows my brother. It's definitely me. There's no question.
Sure.
All right. So listen. So we're going to get serious. I promise, because Herb's sitting down there in the green room waiting for us to get serious. He's been doing interviews all day long. It's final messaging day. I just have a quick question. I have a question for everybody in the chat and here on the panel. Is it bad enough in California yet, or no? Do we think it's bad enough there? Do you think they've learned any lessons, and do you think they'll make any significant changes in the state of California? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know. I think Spencer Pratt for sure is going to win, and hopefully our friend here, or Morgan, is going to win. I'm not sure about the whole Bianco Hilton situation. I know there's lots of people that are completely against Hilton and very in support of Bianco. So we'll see.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to take a position on that. I don't live in California, but at some point, pressure is going to build. The state's going to have as much as they could possibly take of watching their jobs, their tax base, their people flee the state and flee everywhere else, and leave them with homelessness, drugs, and everything else that's going on in the state of California, and fraud. Which brings me to the gentleman that we've got that we're going to spend a few minutes with at the beginning of the show. It is a gentleman by the name of Herb Morgan, and Herb is running for state controller in the state of California. So we're going to bring him up. We're going to ask some questions. Let's add Herb to the stage. Oh, here we go. All right. So everybody, we got Herb Morgan. He's running for California State Controller. Herb, I got to be honest with you, I didn't really know what a state controller did when we were asked if we could get you guys on and hear a little bit about your campaign. And I did a little bit of research, and that's pretty significant role, especially in California, all the fraud and everything that's going on. So if you could just kind of, open up, just tell us a little bit about yourself, about what the role of state controller actually is for folks who don't know. They don't pay attention to state politics, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So I'll start with me. I'm a lifelong Californian, love my state, love its bountiful areas from the mountains to the beaches to the deserts. We got a lot of really great stuff here, but we got a lot of problems. We got very, very serious financial fiscal problems. We are kind of the laughing stock of the country when it comes to the waste, fraud, and abuse. Minnesota is like the junior varsity team to our professional level fraud situation. So that brings us to the state controller. What is it, right? We have a controller, we have an auditor, and we have a treasurer. Forget about the auditor and the treasurer for a second. The controller's job, as endowed by the Constitution, is two things: put out the annual financial report, which the current controller's never done on time, and number two, and perhaps more importantly, prevent fraud. So when I go and speak at the rallies and the meetings, I just say, how's she doing? Because everybody knows the number now. Over the last 5 years, it's $425 billion. And that is an almost incomprehensible number to most people. Our budget this year is $320 billion. If a dollar were 1 second, it'd be 10,700 years. We're so rich out here, right? We have so much wealth, the highest tax rate, more tax revenue, yet in every metric of what we do, of every performance metric, whether it's education, clean air, clean water, homeless services, welfare services, education, infrastructure, roads, high-speed rails, we're between 46th and 50th in everything because our delivery mechanisms are broken and they're susceptible to fraudsters. So the controller is supposed to plug the holes and prevent the fraud. And then Californians can decide through their elections how much money they want to spend at what level and on what projects, right? That's what a republic is. You elect representatives and they do it. Controller doesn't decide any of that. Controller just says whatever the legislator wants to do, I make sure it gets done without theft. Yep. And our current controller, she's not done such a hot job there.
So who is your current controller? And because, I mean, everywhere you look, especially these deep blue states, and I'm an Ohio native, even though I live down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast now, which, by the way, I've got a really interesting graphic for you. You can see in Mississippi is the largest draw of new jobs since 2020. Fascinating. So, the current controller, it would seem to me that in almost all of these blue states, like these programs are almost designed to allow fraud to happen. Is that what's happening, or is folks like the existing controller just not doing her job? How do you lose that much money to fraud?
It's the controller not doing the job. And then and if you think about the journalists that are covering this, they're all blaming, it's the governor or the governor. Well, that's just not doing their research, because the governor is not governor makes a budget, governor makes executive decisions, but it's not the governor's job to ensure the money's not stolen. We have a constitutional officer for that, the controller. And unfortunately for Malia Cohen, our current controller, she has no background in finance. That'd be the equivalent of taking me, right, and saying, Herb, you're going to go fight Tyson tomorrow. Get in the ring.
Right.
Look, I don't have any background. I don't know how to fight. I don't know how to box. I'm 60 years old. Actually, he's probably the same age as me. But I couldn't take Mike Tyson, right? So you take Malia Cohen, who was an administrative assistant to Mayor Gavin Newsom. Then she worked her way up, and she was eventually elected state controller in an all-blue state. Nobody ever asked Do you have a background in finance? Have you sat on the audit committee of a board of directors? Have you been through audit deficiencies? Do you know how to prevent financial fraud? Or do you even want to? I believe she enjoys the ceremonial aspect of the job. She's a very nice lady, but that doesn't mean she's qualified to fight Mike Tyson. And that's really what California needs right now. We are the laughing stock of the country when it comes to waste, fraud, and abuse. And I'll give you an example of how it got set up that way. Like, we have a police department in I live in San Diego, and we fund our police department. It has employees, there's men and women that serve. Okay, great, that works. We have a homeless problem. Do we have a homeless services department with employees and staff? No, we don't. So what we do is we take the money, because we're so rich, we're so wealthy. They don't have this problem in Mexico because they're poor, right? We have this problem because we're rich. And we say, all right, we give the money to a nonprofit entity. Sounds like a good idea, right? I mean, I've sat on so many nonprofit boards. My wife and I go to fundraisers. We make donations to help the school, the church, all those things, right? It sounds good. But when you start giving away hundreds of millions of dollars, you open up the possibility of theft and fraud. So it's incumbent upon a controller to place financial controls in the way of the bad people, so that the money can go to the intended recipients of, we got homeless veterans all over San Diego, right? I have no problem spending state money helping them, right? That's what I want my tax dollars to do.
That's what it should go to. Absolutely.
Yes, and it's not getting there because we just got so rich and started handing out so much money. We never bothered to put guardrails in place. We don't audit these people. We don't ask for their financial statements. We don't look at their transactions. And so you have a small nonprofit CEO buying a Range Rover and flying a private jet, or buying a house in Bel Air, when the homeless vet is still walking around going, "Can I get some service?" That's literally what's happening in California.
That's absolutely disgusting. It's very sad. I have a question. Can you walk us through your professional background in finance and public service, and particularly building the efficient market advisors to $1.5 billion and chairing the San Diego City Employees Retirement System Board?
Wow, you read my bio. That's great. Thank you, SK. So yeah, I spent 40 years actually in finance. So when you compare administrative assistant to Gavin Newsom, who's been in politics her entire life, San Francisco supervisor, State Board of Equalization, private sector guy, 40 years. And that includes buying and selling different companies, sitting on boards of directors. I sit on a late stage venture fund board now. I sit on audit committees. And about 15 years ago, we had a major pension scandal in San Diego. 4 of our board trustees were criminally indicted. The mayor called me and said, "Hey, buddy, I need you to volunteer. I need you to go. I don't know if I can swear. I need you to fix." I was going to say something.
Yeah. PatriotDad's not here. You can swear.
It's unsupervised. You can say whatever you want.
What he said was, somebody's got to unfuck the pension system. And I said, "Wow, okay, Mr. Mayor." He said, "We can't, there's no pay, there's nothing like this. You just got to go do your duty." And so me and a number of other humans, it wasn't all me, we went down and we got 8 years of financial books and records in order. We got the audits done. We basically fixed the San Diego pension system, one of the largest municipal pension systems in the country. And so that was the civic side. And then the professional side, started company, sold the company. I was able to sell my company to a large Wall Street firm back in 2017. I stayed on as a senior managing director. I was chief investment officer there for the last 9 years. And I just decided, actually, this came about. I was playing golf with a buddy of mine. He's a retired SEAL. And we started talking about service. We may or may not have been drinking a little bourbon. And I said,
I want to Herb more.
I said, I really regret. I call the guy Bugs. I said, "Bugs, I really regret I never served the way you served." And he said, "You can still serve." I said, "What are you talking about? I'm almost 60 years old. I could never be a Navy SEAL. Look at me." He goes, No, not like that. You could serve in another way. And then a couple of bourbons later, we say, "You know what? You should run for state controller, because you're the only guy I know that can fix this stuff." And it was really a desire to serve it as my, after my retirement and before my, off to the wheelchair. I'm only 60, so I got some energy. I got some time. I'm a lousy golfer. This is what I want to do. I love California. I want it to work. And, we're so wealthy. We're so successful as a state. I really think we can fix it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's
So-
great. That's absolutely great. Go ahead. If you have another
Yeah,
question, go ahead.
Oh, I do. I got a couple questions. So I want to make a statement first because I'm just absolutely blown away by the idea that Gavin Newsom's administrative assistant is someone that would be elevated to the position that's basically supposed to be the watchdog, or at least the hen, or the fox. What am I looking for? The sheepdog that is trying to keep the fraud out. And we see, all of these NGOs, all of these nonprofits just loaded, and it's all of these people's friends and families that are chairing these NGOs and these nonprofits. It's almost like it was set up so that, it would enable, or at least no one would be able to prevent massive amounts of fraud in this state. And that's just a statement. You don't have to respond to that if you don't want to. I just see that everywhere.
I'm happy to respond. You've correctly identified the business model of California state government. So
Yeah.
this is by design, right? So we became
Yeah.
a one party state. And by the way, if we were all red, maybe some of our people would have been corrupt too. I don't know. But this state is so corrupt, the attorney general will not prosecute crime, as an example. So all of these crimes that I've identified, there's been like 800 or 900 arrests so far. They've all happened in the last year or so because the Trump administration has sent in the first assistant U.S. attorney, Bill Asaley, because our own attorney general, a guy named Rob Bonta, will not prosecute any of these people because it's a incestuous thing, right? So I appoint you to this board, and you're on that commission, and you grant a high-speed rail contract to me, and I grant a contract to you. And then, of course, SK shows up at my fundraiser. In fact, if you get a chance, you've got to go to my website, herbmorgan.com, and watch my video. Okay, so we have this video that explains the business model where the money comes in, then the state controller delivers the money to the homeless NGO CEO grifter. He takes a big chunk in his Range Rover, and then he drives that over the Golden Gate Bridge over some homeless people, and he sees O.J. Simpson on the road, and he sees Spencer Pratt on the road. And it's really funny, AI obviously, and he parks and he gets out with the bundles of money to go to a fundraiser for Malia Cohen and Gavin Newsom. Right,
Yep.
That's how California works.
I know that you talk a lot about radical transparency. What exactly does that mean in practice? Like, can you walk us through how you would implement like near real-time AI audits and the live general ledgers and blockchain tracking for California's $300+ billion budget?
Yeah, so let's start with what it is. It's a basic concept. Every amount of money that the state spends or its subsidiaries. So I will be in charge of 58 counties and 482 cities and all of their subsidiaries, police departments, fire departments, water boards, all of them, and all of their spending reports up to the big guy once I'm in the big chair. The idea is everybody who's a citizen should be able to see that completely unfettered in almost near time on a daily basis, every transaction. So how do you make that happen? This is my cell phone. If I go right now and I go to Starbucks and order a cup of coffee, or let's go Black Rifle instead. I think I got to know my audience better. And I go get my cup of coffee. 2 minutes later, or 2 seconds later, I'm going to get a transaction report on my phone. It's a text message saying you spent $6 at Black Rifle Coffee, right? What does it cost me to get that? It costs me nothing. So the state controller has plenary authority to dictate or mandate the method of reporting. I'm going to give you $1 billion. Here is my requirement. You will log in one time. You will connect your bank account to my database. Every time you have a withdrawal or deposit from that bank account or any of your credit card accounts, a transaction will be written to my database, which is a secure blockchain ledger. So that's millions of transactions, tens of thousands every single day throughout the state, perhaps hundreds of thousands. Well, I can't process those in my brain. I'm a smart guy, but I'm not that smart. But I have these friends called artificial and intelligence. They can process all the data every night in my new transparency war room. Think NASA control meets Wall Street trading desk. Massive amounts of data, monitors everywhere. And I walk in the morning with my coffee and there's reports and they're flagged. So artificial intelligence is not making the decision. They're not saying it's fraud. Artificial intelligence just processes more data than I can do as a human being and presents it to me in a condensed and easy to understand format. Then I and my staff can further investigate. So what happens is not only am I looking at the data and AI is looking at the data, because it's open to the public, SK at home, she could build her own AI bot and she can scour the data every night for the entire state from her laptop while she's having a martini. And she can come up with things and she could post on her website, hey, did you see what they spent at Huntington Beach School District yesterday on a sport court? Like literally that level of granularity. And that's why I call it radical. Plus in California, right? We're radical, we're wild and crazy, right? I don't know. Not the California I grew up in, by the way. We were a red state most of my life, just so you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's only recently that we've kind of gone a little bit crazy, and we can get into that. Why? I think you guys all know why. What's happened here? But the core of most Californians, most of us, we are fiscally conservative, not necessarily socially, but we are still fiscally conservative.
And
Okay, so real quick, I just want to reiterate. So the website, well, he actually has a website. Eric's got a website out there. It's called, and I just put it out in the chat for the folks. And I know over in Rumble you can't get this. It's California
it's on X,
Radical.
too.
Okay, it's CaliforniaRadicalTransparency.com. Now, is this a functioning dashboard here, or is this a mock-up of what it will look like when you're ready to when you're in office?
This is so cool. This is like one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life, other than like, getting married and having children and, starting
You got to
companies.
add that. I'm sure your
Yeah,
wife's
she's
listening.
right out the door. I got to add that. So the state of California tried to be transparent. They funded and built a website called Open Phys Cal, CAL. They spent $1 billion building this website.
This is insane.
$1 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took 20 years because
Yeah.
the controller was fighting with the treasurer and the treasurer was fighting with the auditor. It was all little petty turf wars, who was in charge, government stuff. So after 20 years, it doesn't work. I mean, it absolutely doesn't work. So I got a guy and we got together and we started talking about how hard or easy would it be to build that. And by the end, we're like, we could do it this weekend.
Yep.
It took us a week. We used some Claude credits and we scraped all of the data from FisCal, all of the data from the Legislative Analyst Office, all of the data from the governor's budget, and all from the auditor's reports of every agency in state government. We repurposed it in a new searchable database that you just mentioned, CaliforniaRadicalTransparency.com. It's completely live, completely searchable. I'm also adding, it's not up yet, but we're going to add an AI chatbot where it says chat with Herb. So rather than search, you can say, hey, Herb, tell me how you did this. Tell me how you came up with that. And then Herb, this guy, answers the questions in my voice, in my tone. I mean, that's what AI can do.
Yeah.
And we built it. It cost $1,500. And
wow.
Yeah, it was $1,500.
That's huge, huge savings.
Well, it's just how illustrious the just insane government truly is. And I don't want to go down that whole thing, but I'm in the middle of launching a startup, me and another co-founder, and it's all AI based. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you give me $1 billion to build a platform, do you imagine what I could build with that in 3 months? That'd be crazy.
And have 998 million left over.
Right. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. No, we'd be buying us some Mark Zuckerberg boats to park up there in Oregon and really upset a bunch of people.
Yeah,
like they're doing. So, listen, just real quick, I kind of have one more question for you, and then we'll let you sort of wrap up. I mean, so you've got all this fraud, and this has been a great discussion. I've really enjoyed it. Where do you start? I mean, where? So, you got programs with all this waste. How do you figure out and prioritize what you want to do first, or especially as a Republican in a predominantly red state? What do you do? Do you work with the U.S. Attorney's Office or what?
Well, hopefully I'll be working with an attorney general that wants to help do the prosecution side. But remember, my job is not to go out and get the bad guys. My job is to prevent bad guys from getting in. Right? I'm the malware protector or whatever that's called in your computer.
EDR,
right?
Yep.
Right. So I can do that day one. And where do we start? We start with building out the Radical Transparency platform, but we also start with using the authority that the state controller's office legally has that's not currently used. to withhold disbursements to entities that are not in compliance with the law. Now, I can't just choose to withhold, but the biggest one I can give you is you've heard of our lovely high-speed rail in California.
Yeah.
So we voted on this in 2008, and if you read the initiative, you're like, oh, 10 billion in bonds, that's not very much money. We're going to build a $35 billion high-speed train from San Francisco to LA, which increases real estate values all along the way, businesses, it's just jobs. Like, wow, sounds great. They did it in China, they did it in Japan, they did it in Europe. Okay, well, 800 miles, 35 billion in cost, 10 billion in debt, sounds like a reasonable deal. But the legislation that we voted on, the proposition, said very clearly that once it's built, it may not operate at a loss. So the state finance director must certify that the program will break even or be better based on fares and ridership.
Mhm.
That was almost 20 years ago. The program is not built. It is no longer 800 miles. It is 177. It is also not 177 because they only have the legal entitlement right of way to 117 miles. So they're literally spending, and they don't even have the title to the land yet. Of 117 is what they've got. The new proposal, if you're in San Francisco, now, by the way, you can buy a ticket for $200 on Southwest Airlines. You can go to LA in an hour. Or you could get on a train, slow train, and you could go to Merced. That's a couple of hours. You get off, you wait, you change trains. If they ever get this finished, you will get on a bullet train from Merced, go south to Bakersfield. Then that's like an hour and a half. Then you will get off that and you will wait. And get this, you will take a bus.
This is stupid.
From Bakersfield to Los Angeles. This is well over 100 miles on a Greyhound type bus. Or you could have spent $200 and flown on Southwest Airlines, got little peanuts and maybe had a beer or whatever.
A Biscoff cookie.
And
Yeah.
So the High Speed Rail Authority updates their business plan every year on their website. The last 2 times they've updated the business plan, they say very clearly, revenue will only cover about 40% of the operating cost. Ding, 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 ding. They are in violation of Prop 1A.
Mm-hmm.
So the state controller is duty bound to stop payment. Like, you have to cut your loss. I spent 40 years on Wall Street. When you're in a trade and it's not working, you need to cut your losses and move on. If it's working, you can stay with your trade. This trade has been failing since 2008, and they literally keep throwing bad money, good money after bad money, good money after bad money. So I had a press conference this week in San Jose, and I announced that on January 2nd or 3rd, when I take office, there will be no further payments to the contractors on high-speed rail. It's over. It's done. And of course, then we have land to sell. We have all these other things, but we're literally going to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
And you can go through my site and you go through. Now, if somebody comes with an actual plan, with an actual public or private sector partner to actually build a profitable railroad in California, sounds like a good idea.
Yep.
But in California, we don't finish our infrastructure projects. You guys have heard about our wildlife bridge, I'm sure.
Oh, I haven't.
I have.
So
I definitely have.
So, all over the country, and I think wildlife bridges are great, right? I mean, outdoors, hunting, animals, everything's great. We have bison. We still have some wild bison. We have elk herds like in Utah that they need to go under the freeways and all this. This is important stuff. It's cheap to build a wildlife bridge. They don't need a guardrail for a possum. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't need a cell phone box for the cougar to call. So down in just north of Los Angeles, it's called the Annenberg Wildlife Crossing. It was supposed to cost $10 million. It goes over the freeway so the mountain lions and other critters can get over. I'm like, that sounds pretty good to me. What's it going to cost? Well, it's like $12 million. Great. We're a very rich state, $320 billion budget. Build it. Great idea. We want animals. We want wildlife. We are at 120 million, and it is not complete. They built the top. There's no ramp for the animals to get up. They landscaped the top. There's bushes and dirt.
It's
And
crazy.
they keep going. Like, remember in Sopranos when like they had the lawn chairs out and the guys are on the construction project and
Yeah.
Tony Soprano, the fat guys are sitting there and they're drinking their iced tea in the sun. And no. That's California project labor agreements. They don't ever want to end the project, because if the project ends, you're no longer paying your friends who turn around and donate to your political campaigns.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, go ahead. I had a
No, I was
couple.
going to say that's the story. That's the story of big government. That will always be the story of big government, and it'll get worse when you get socialist government and you get communist government. That will always be the story. None of those things are for the people. Yeah. Well,
when we get socialist government in California.
Yeah. No. I mean, across the rest of the country, we already know
Yeah.
where the shape California's in, right? That's what you get, because none of that is for the people. Socialism is for the little guy. It's not for the big guy. They're going to get rich. They're going to get rich as hell. And you just described exactly how they do it. So go ahead, SK, and then we'll wrap up with her.
Yeah, I just have a couple things to wrap up. Number one, how would you handle the pushback from the entrenched interests like the NGOs and the agencies that benefit from less scrutiny? So keep that in mind. But also, I do want to know, what is the biggest example of government waste or lack of transparency that you've personally uncovered so far in your research in running for office?
Well, okay. So the first one is, how do you deal with the pushback? Because I am the one who releases the money, I will be very fastidious about making sure that the recipient of the money is in perfect compliance with my reporting mandates, does not have prior audit deficiencies. I won't release money if you haven't cured your prior audit deficiencies. And so when you're sitting there, I got $40 million with your name on it, SK, you're going to do backflips to make sure you are in compliance to get that money released to you. So that's number one. That's easy. Number two, we could spend hours on, but I'm just going to give you one, since you asked for one, that we just uncovered a couple of weeks ago. So the state of California decided we wanted to provide solar panels to low-income multifamily housing. Okay, so that's apartment buildings that are subsidized in inner cities, different areas like that. Sounds good. We have a lot of sunshine. Solar panel technology is pretty good. So they authorized $978 million to go to solar panels. We installed close to 60 or 70 million worth of solar panels. The other $900 million was funneled through what they call the top solar panel nonprofit. They then took all of that money and gave it to other nonprofits. They thought people would only see the first level derivative, right? And see, okay, oh, they did solar. Okay, it went to a solar company. But if you dig into the solar company, which we did, they then handed the money out to every other nonprofit. And guess what those nonprofits do?
Donate it back to the politicians?
No. Get out the vote for illegal immigrants.
Yep, 100%.
Voter registration, and get out the vote for progressive left candidates. A friend of mine who has a great California podcast called Ramin Real Talks, he went to the solar company. He walked into the warehouse, and nobody said anything. He's like, "Hey, can I interview you?" The guy's like, "Yeah." He says, "You guys do solar?" He goes, "Yeah, we do solar." He goes, "Did you also go to people's house and get them to vote?" He goes, "Yeah, we have to do that every so often too." I mean, and it turns out that the sub nonprofits are the same people running the top nonprofits.
They're the same.
So it's the same people.
It's copy and paste all across the entire United States. That's the model of the left. The left, folks, the left.
Yeah, and I can tell you the same story about hospice centers, about CalFresh, which is our food stamp program, CalWorks, which is our work program,
and
employment development. It goes on and on.
I imagine this is probably why your polling has such strong support across even center left voters, because I imagine that most Californians are not happy to find out that all of their tax dollars are just being wasted. Yeah,
I don't run into anybody who says they're against, my idea. what I do run across, some people, hey, I'm just skeptical, I'm a lifelong Democrat, whatever. Like, that's fine. I appreciate the skepticism and the honesty. It's all good. And we did do a poll last week. We surveyed 35,000 people in California.
Oh, wow. That's a poll. Yeah.
That's a poll. And we asked, we chose them to be center left, because I can't win if I only get Republican votes out here. So, like, does this message resonate with you that all spending should be open to everyone to see? And 85% of people replied, yes. That was question one. Question two was, have you heard of this guy, Herb Morgan, who has a plan to do it and has already done it? And, I was at about 25, I think, 20 or 25% name recognition last week, which is actually pretty good going into a primary, which is tomorrow. Math is not partisan. Yes, thank you. That is one of our taglines. So yeah, I would just encourage everybody, check out the website, herbmorgan.com. We could use a little help. You all know what that means. If you care, if you're in California, or if you just care about California, or you just want to see me go in and kick some ass, you know what? Chip in a few shekels and we'll get it done for you.
Heard it,
Wonderful.
guys. I was getting ready to ask if people wanted to learn more, where can they go? Can you say your website again? And we can try to get that up on the screen. Maybe Herb for Controller down in the comments can type that out. We can put it up on the screen. But tell us where people can go if they want to donate, get involved, all of your different socials, all of that.
Yeah, so all of the socials are at Herb, the number 4, like you see right below me there, Controller, at Herb for Controller, everywhere. The same content is in every place. And the website is herbmorgan.com, herbmorgan.com. All of my academic papers about the waste, the fraud, the abuse, all of my solution papers to the waste, fraud, and abuse, and the link to my new, better mousetrap that I built for the state of California for free before I was elected. All of it is there. My chatbot will be there coming soon. Look, thanks. I mean, the love I've gotten on the road. Like last night, I left Fresno at, I guess, about 10:30 at night. And if you don't know where that is, that's almost to San Francisco. I live in San Diego, and we had 4 media appearances in Los Angeles this morning. So we're just like, go, 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 go. I think I put 10,000 miles on my car in 2 months, the last 2 months.
Wow.
Californians are ready. We do these rallies, not like Trump rallies, not that big. But a year ago, we get 30 to 40 people. Last night, we probably had 500 standing room only, people out the door.
That's amazing.
There is, hey, America, something's happening in California. We are not as weird as you think, but the really weird people are the ones that have been in charge, and the regular people are taking them out. We are taking them out and replacing them. We're going to get through this primary for sure tomorrow, and then we go on to November. Stay tuned. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I wish you all the luck tomorrow. If you're in here from California, make sure that you get out and vote for Herb here, for Controller of the state of California. And also, I think your people in the chat were saying, if anybody wants to volunteer to help his campaign, if you believe in this and you want to help him get across the finish line, make sure you put in a form to volunteer, because they definitely need volunteer help. Also, guys, I know I say this every time we're talking about elections. If you find a candidate you like, even if it's in another state, and you think it could help that state, you can donate to them. You don't have to live in the state. Also, if you don't have money to donate, you can also call or put in a form for to volunteer. You can make phone calls, you can send text messages, you can get out and knock doors. There are lots of ways you can help that don't cost you a penny.
That's right. Thank you.
Awesome. So tomorrow, Herb, we're going to find out if it's bad enough yet in California to start electing some Republicans. I hope it is.
We're getting close.
Hope it is. Yeah, we're getting close. All right. Thank you very much. Great
Thank you for your
interview. We really
time.
enjoyed it. I learned a lot about the controller.
Yeah.
So this is great. We'll see you. Thanks, Herb.
Good luck.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Oh, SK. That was cool. Listen,
Look
that
at
was
me,
actually
all professional.
that was a fantastic conversation. We did all of that without PatriotDad. Listen, I'm not
Without
even sure
PatriotDad,
I'm not even sure we need
unsupervised.
PatriotDad.
Who
He would
knew?
ask boring questions.
Who knew
No,
I
we
was
need
capable
PatriotDad.
of being professional? You guys, if you guys were here before we started, like 5 minutes before we went live, I had no sound and my microphone didn't work and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm sure Herb here thinks that I'm a hot mess, which is pretty accurate, but that's what was going on backstage before we went live.
You are not a hot mess. It's all good. Listen, I mean, the problems that Herb was discussing there is going on all over the country. I mean, I'm curious if it's just more elevated, or at least the visibility of it is in these deep blue states like California, New York, Minnesota, and all them, simply because they're Democrats, and we like President Trump's really enjoying trying to drag these people down across the streets, throw them in jail cells. But we know it's going on in Ohio. We know it's going everywhere, and that was a refreshing conversation. But we've got to get our arms around this. So SK was right, guys, folks. Listen. Tomorrow for the primaries, and we'll show this at the end of the show here. Vote tomorrow, June 2nd, and from now on for this podcast going into the general elections, we're going to start spending a significant amount of time showing the contrast between what you get from Republicans and what you get from Democrats, right? So what you get from Democrats is the Democrat California controller over there, who essentially appears to be nothing more than a figurehead that was promoted there because she was Gavin Newsom's administrative assistant and knew she was not capable of actually doing the job to prevent billions of dollars from being stolen from the taxpayers in California. You can't convince me. I'm sorry. You will not convince me that the reason that woman is in the job is because she was qualified to do it. No, she was there because she didn't have the ability to stop the theft, the outright theft of California taxpayers' dollars. And by the way, it's going on all over the fucking country.
The whole entire country. That's what I was saying. Copy paste. Exactly what he was talking about. You copy and paste it. It's in your state too. If you think it's not in your state and in your city, you would be mistaken. It is literally everywhere.
So we got California, Iowa, Montana, New Mexico, New Jersey, South Dakota. I don't know much about anything else that's going on. It seems like the entire country is fixated right now on the city of Los Angeles.
Yes, but also with everything going on in New Jersey, people are looking at New Jersey too, and I don't think the Democrats are doing themselves any favor.
I don't think so too. We're going to get into what's going on in New Jersey because I got to be honest with you, I can't imagine that people in New Jersey are big fans of watching 68% of the cell phone GPS data surrounding that Delaney ICE facility is actually coming from Seattle and Portland and Chicago. And we know it.
What?
They know it, but we know that nearly 70%, 7 out of 10 people that are out there rioting and engaged in ongoing endless insurrection are just Antifa or other paid agitators being shipped in. So that's the funny part about it is that is basically the backdrop of going into a primary election. We'll see what happens, but
no, there's no way. There's no way Antifa traveled all the way across the entire United States to go riot outside of a detention facility for illegal aliens who are getting accommodations for their religious beliefs, for their food. They have access to healthcare. They get full health screenings. They're getting all kinds of stuff. These people definitely did not show up outside the jails where the J6ers were being held, where the U.S. Marshals found that 400 prisoners should be transported to another facility because there was standing sewage and they were being held in solitary confinement for 30 plus hours a day. No haircuts, no shaving, food with actual worms in it, not suitable for humans, and not a single I don't remember any Democrats rioting outside the facility. Do you?
No, in fact, they are super, super mad that those people, a lot of them who are unjustly prosecuted, actually were number one, they were pardoned, and number two, they might actually be able to file suit against the federal government for weaponization and theft of their civil rights or infringement of their civil rights. That's the Trump weaponization fund. We're going to get into all of that. I don't want to
we might want to wait a minute because I'm going to totally crash out. That's going to be one of those moments you guys are going to have to clip Guarding the Grid and MAGA Jake because I have a few words to say about that.
We're going to get to it. So that's that right there, guys. That's the teaser for the second hour of the show, right? So we're about 45 minutes in. That interview went for a while. That was a great interview.
It was so fast. It felt
the
like it was
dude's a
10
talker,
minutes.
man. That's fantastic. I
But
got to be
that
honest
was
with you.
amazing.
Well, I got to be honest with you. When we were talking about a controller, I'm like, this is like a CFO. This guy's gonna be boring. Herb was not boring. The dude golfs with former Navy SEAls and drinks
He is
bourbon while he
not.
does it. Listen,
He
all
is
of
not
my
boring.
golf buddies are all big bourbon drinkers. I can't handle it, but I'm going to tell you right now, you want to see some shit shows? Golfing with these guys is an absolute shit show.
I bet.
So I can only imagine.
I bet Herb knows how to let his hair down.
I bet he does.
I bet he knows how to
fantastic.
party, and he seems like he's a California dude. He probably also knows how to hang out on the beach and have a good time. But he really doesn't like it when the tax dollars are being wasted, and he has a lot of experience in this field. So hopefully he does a good job, and hopefully California can get turned around. It's probably going to take several administrations, but I mean, California is pretty far gone. But if anybody can get it turned around, it sounds like Herb's the guy to do it.
His manager is still here. Hi there, Herb. Hey, Herb for Controller is still in the chat, folks. So
his manager is still here. He does. Hey, you know what? He's a cool guy. That interview felt super fast. When he just said it was like 40 minutes, I was like, bro, what? It felt like it was
we're
like
46
10.
minutes in. Yeah, we're 46 minutes in.
Crazy.
Yeah. So listen, I want to stay in California, right? Because something interesting is brewing in California. Herb said it. So I saw it was Cat Turd, I think, today said he's feeling a Spencer Pratt upset. Listen, guys, I got to be honest with you. I don't think you're going to see a Spencer Pratt upset. I think.
Oh, I disagree.
Well, so we have to define what an upset is, right? Because this California, as you know, has their jungle primary. So there's 3 candidates. So the top 2 candidates will go on to the general election. I think he does have an amazing opportunity to knock that Nithya Raman lady off and then actually go to get to the general against Karen Basura, as he likes to call her. Karen Bass, the commie who literally was trained when she was.
He calls her Karen Garbage, but
Karen
it sounds
Garbage
better
Basura,
in
who in her younger years actually was trained and educated in communism in fucking Cuba. Yeah, Karen Bass,
Weren't
that
there,
lady.
like, some bombs and stuff that she was like involved with or adjacent to? Like how did she get elected to begin with? LA, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not going to disparage people, but the question that I'm going to keep asking is it bad enough yet? And the reason I want to talk about Spencer Pratt, because I don't think I've ever seen any candidate, let alone a Republican candidate, run the campaign that he has been running. The only other campaign that I've seen that's even similar or just as good is the campaigns that Trump runs. I mean, frankly, they're genius. But this guy, so Spencer Pratt put out his closing argument today. Now, this is like a nearly 8-minute video.
You need to put Herb for Controller's comment up here on the screen while you play this, because that's great. He says Pratt will upset, and I agree. I mean, will he be able to get like 50+% of the vote? I don't know. But I think come November, all those people who are betting against Spencer Pratt on Poly Market and all these other things that people are looking at instead of polls, it's really annoying. Spencer's going to win this. I have faith. And the fact that Spencer Pratt, star of Laguna Beach, who I've seen every single episode of Laguna Beach and The Hills, for the record.
Yep, I did
would
too.
have never in 1,000 years thought that Spencer Pratt was the hero California needed, but here we are, and I am here for it. Just goes to show you, regular people, everyday people, it's your turn. If you don't have a good candidate running in your area, you're up. It's your turn. You got to step up and do what you need to do for your country, for your city, for your school board, all the things, because we have to take this country back.
Listen, K Pasta, I want you to come listen closely. Okay. I am not a party pooper. I am in a lot of respects a realist. And I think that, again, I just think that there are entirely too many insane liberals over there in that state that will just vote blue no matter who, right? And so that's just a reality. They call us the cult. But I want to get back on topic here, because I want to play. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the Spencer Pratt campaign, they recognized obviously a while ago, but this closing message that he put out today is basically understanding it. Listen, all he has to do is finish in the top 2 to get to a runoff, to get to the general election in November, and then he can spend the next 6 months just destroying Karen Basura, whatever the hell her name is. So he can do that. But in order to do that, he's got to get this Nithya Raman chick out of the picture. SK, did you watch this closing argument video from him?
I listen, I saw it in the thing and I have not watched it because I wanted to save it for here because again, I'm shocked that Spencer and Heidi Pratt are the freaking heroes that California needs. And again, I'm here for it. I am all for it. But I wanted to watch it on here.
All right, so good. So I had to break this up, and I don't know if we'll play all 4 segments of it because I want to discuss some of these segments as we wrap them up. But just as you're listening to this, I want you to listen to how this guy is pissed. I mean, when you're really super mad, a lot of people either they stumble over their words or they get super focused and they're able to just like you, just get super focused like a laser beam, and they can say exactly what's on their mind. They can, they can get it out. I don't know how many takes it took him to do this. There's not many jump cuts, but listen to this. All right, we're gonna play it. Let's listen to this closing argument video.
Those of you are considering voting for Nithya Raman but haven't yet. Obviously, you and I are in the same place. We all agree that Karen Bass has failed the city as mayor and we need change.
Because Karen Bass is not doing
And for a moment, you thought Nithya would be an alternative, but since she collapsed at the debate,
I'm not sure how to respond.
And she's run a very weak campaign. She's doing live streams with the hateful, radical anti-Semite Hassan Piker, who believes we deserve 9/11.
2024 Anti-Semite of the Year top 10 finalist, Hassan Piker.
Yeah, I think I have become more aware of these issues over my time on city council.
Kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
Mr. Piker is anti-American, anti-women, anti-Western, and anti-Semitic. No Democrats should engage him. All should seek to push him to the fringe where he belongs.
That's why I got engaged on this issue.
It is Piker who said that America deserved 9/11.
Yeah, I do believe that.
About right now, you've accepted the reality that she's not going to advance past the runoff. At this point, voting for Nithya is a wasted vote. It's me versus Karen. It's change versus more of the same. More homeless drug addicts in front of your schools, more animals being tortured and killed on the streets and in her city shelters, more empty reservoirs when the wildfires hit, more potholes, more of your favorite restaurants going out of business, no new housing getting built. You can either vote for me to change all that insanity, or you can see Karen Bass visit more destruction on our city, and you can watch your social group erode as your friends move to Nashville or Miami or Austin. It's no longer a question about me or Nithya or Karen. Nithya has no path to victory now. It's me versus Karen. A vote for Nithya right now is a vote for Karen.
Okay.
Bro, what?
Bro, the takedown.
I have to say one thing and then you can talk for as long as you want. When I tell you guys that being genuine and being honest is all that it takes, that is truly all that it takes. If you watch that video and you think for 1 second that guy doesn't mean every word he's saying, that he doesn't have skin in the game and that he doesn't truly want LA to succeed, you're living in an alternate reality. When you're doing these things, again, I don't want to be here. I'm here because I was led to be here. I don't care about the clicks, the views, the likes, all that. I care about being able to look my kids in the face and say, I did everything that I possibly could to try to save this country. Little old me who thinks I have zero influence at all whatsoever, I still stepped up and did everything that I could possibly do to make sure that my kids, grandkids, great grandkids get to enjoy the country that I know and love, that I got to grow up in. And if you think for 1 second that Spencer Pratt, when he speaks to that camera, isn't speaking directly from the heart and being genuine, you're living in an alternate reality. And if you live in LA, these people, they're going to vote for Spencer Pratt. Whether they tell their friends they did or not, they're going to vote for Spencer Pratt because they have to live in that city. And they know when they watch these videos that he's being genuine and honest, and he's going to do everything he can to fix that city.
Sorry, K Pasto. That's my phone. It sits over here. It vibrates. I apologize. She's asked to turn the vibration off. Listen, so if we get any rumble rants, MAGA Jake, bring him over because I can't see him anymore. Apologies. So listen, that was only one of 4 of these clips that I have. This guy, and listen, as you're listening,
play it. This is good shit.
I know. As you are listening to these next 4 clips, I'm not going to play in succession. I want to talk about each one of them. I want you to think about what you never hear him do, which Democrats will do every single time. Okay? And then we're going to come back and there's going to be a quiz.
Nithia's pedigree as an academic seemed appealing. Maybe we do need someone who's never lived here before, an outsider with an East Coast degree to come rewrite the city. Some of you may not know that I earned a political science degree right here in LA from USC. I'd show it to you, but it burned up in the Palisades fire. But I assure you, I got it. I don't brag about my credentials from my prestigious university because I think credentialism is uncouth. And what matters more is the capacity to get things done. Clearly, Nithya doesn't have that in her. We can all agree on that, at least in the fact her entire campaign is predicated on the fact that she can't get anything done. She talks about the city being broken, but she's been in city leadership for 6 years and failed to do anything. She is incredibly unpopular in her own district. She's not managed to accomplish anything in city council, and she's been the chair of the Homelessness and Housing Committee for years. She's literally the one in charge of homelessness in LA. How's she doing, folks? Look around. All of us know Nithya doesn't have it in her. She's already confessed that she's going to quit politics entirely after she loses in the primary, and her campaign has been deeply unserious about the major problems all of us face in the city.
Definitely, this has gone far beyond what I expected the campaign to be about. I, again, thought it would be about bike lanes and management of the Department of Transportation.
Now, for some of you, bike lanes.
That's just a uniquely unserious person who that's the equivalent of the current state controller who, doesn't have any idea how to do the job, isn't really interested in doing the job, thinks she's entitled to do the job, but has no interest or no ability at all to do it. So what are your thoughts on that? Because that one didn't really get into what I'm thinking about, but in a minute I'll get to it.
The best 2 parts of that is when he says, I got my degree and blah, blah, blah. I would show it to you, but it burned up in the fire. Again, this guy has skin in the game. He's furious. He lost everything that him and his wife have worked for, everything they worked
family.
for. I mean, his children, their whole entire community is gone. Everything they owned, gone. He has skin in the game. The second thing, he basically compared her to Kamala Harris when he said she's been in city government for 6 years. And what has she accomplished? She could have made changes the last 6 years and she hasn't done it. What makes you think she's going to do it now? The exact argument that was a winning argument against Kamala Harris. She was the vice president and she didn't do jack shit. What is she going to do as president? Period.
Yep. Amazing. Fantastic. So, I mean, we all know, listen, Patriot Dad's family, their house burned down last November. They lost everything, but it wasn't the fault of just complete abject corruption and failure from the people who are supposed to be in that position and protecting those houses. So I've got 2 more. These are just too fun.
You just need to keep going. This is so good. This is a master class in how to run for office. Be genuine, be authentic, have actual passion for what you're talking about, because people can sense the bullshit straight out of the gate. Be genuine, be who you are. You have mistakes in your past. Everyone has done things or has skeletons in their closet, whatever. Be honest, be open. Nobody can bring things up to you if you're just open and honest about yourself. There's nothing they can come at you with.
Bike lanes actually might be your biggest problem. I'll admit, I envy you. I wish that were my biggest problem. I wish I had as privileged a life as her to where I only had to worry about bike lanes. But like many of you, I have real problems in the city. My home burned down in the Palisades fire because of failed city leadership that drained our reservoirs before the fire, cut the fire department budget, leaving us without backup. I know, it's pretty windy. It got up to 20 to 30 miles per hour.
And through parts of Pacific Palisades, we've got some gusts up into the 20 to 30 mile per hour range.
I know Nithya hasn't lived in LA for more than a few years, so she may not understand this. But for those of us who've lived in LA our whole lives, we know that Santa Ana winds are not new. We've seen lots of wind events like this, but we've never seen destruction like this. 7,000 homes? That doesn't happen because of 38 mile per hour winds. That happens because of failed city leaders like Nithya and Karen. Unlike Nithya and her comfy $3 million home, I actually know how difficult it is to get anything built in the city. I'm dealing with it right now. She doesn't have the sense of urgency that I have to take a wrecking ball to the insane roadblocks that stymie construction of new housing in this city. I want to get 100,000 housing units built. I want to clear out Skid Row and get development cranking so we can boost the housing supply and bring down the cost of rents just like Austin did. They don't wax poetic about YIMBYism, they just build. That's what I want for my neighbors in the Palisades, and that's what I want for all of LA. If you want more affordable housing, I'm your man. Nithya doesn't have it in her.
Dude, he is on fire. What?
So,
he needs to run for office. People are going to be like, you know.
oh my,
Spencer Pratt
wait,
for
you mean he needs to
Congress.
run for office?
Yeah, I mean, he needs to run for like federal office, like Spencer Pratt for Congress, Spencer Pratt for president. I mean, this guy is going places. He's
well,
furious.
listen, hold on. I tend to be of the cloth that's like, listen, let's see him actually implement these things
Well,
and
yeah,
get these
of
things
course.
done, right? I mean, obviously, right? So, I mean, well, I think a lot of us, it happens on the left, happens on the right. We get a lot of us get sucked into, you know, this sort of cult of personality. You know, like, do you remember when people were like, "Oh, we need Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson for president"? Why?
Dude, I said
Why?
I would vote
Do they
for
know how to
Candace
run
Owens
the
at one
largest?
point in time.
Yeah, I know, but so the question you ask yourself is, why would you? Do they have they ever shown any ability to run what is effectively the largest fucking business ever on the planet anytime in world history? No, they don't. Let's see what he does. But I mean,
But
he's making the greatest closing argument I've ever heard, frankly.
This is amazing. This is the best closing argument ever. But to be fair, in that one interview, I thought one of the best things that he ever did when he was confronted with his personal finances, he was like, look, personal finances are completely different than the government finances. On top
You
of
have
that,
to
I
live
have
inside of a budget.
Yeah, he was like, on top of that, I have a phone right here full of CPAs that I could call that could come in here and clean up this mess in no time.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, so that's a fascinating angle to attack him on. Your personal finances. Have you seen the city's personal finances? No, because in personal finances, you actually have to operate with the budget, or there's repercussions. There's bad things that happen to you personally, bankruptcy, all this stuff. You get, you know, stuff taken away from you. These people that bankrupt their cities and bankrupt their states, they don't lose anything. They just get richer doing it.
Well,
So-
and on top of that, they've attacked him over his crystals and all that. And they're acting like it's some type of crystal that you can just go out and buy at the farmer's market or when you go to the tarot card reader. He has like geodes and like, I mean, these are
I don't know
like
anything about
crystals
that
that
stuff.
could be like in a museum. Like his plan was to put all of these crystals when he passed away into like the Natural History Museum. It's that quality of crystals. It's not like what people think.
All right. I got one more segment, and then I'm going to ask you a question about what you didn't hear him do a single time. Okay.
Drug addict encampments away from your kid's school, she rolls her eyes at you.
I mean, it's like, I don't think a kid's going to be safer because a tent is 500 feet away from a school. You know, it's like, whatever.
When moms tell me they don't feel safe, I listen. I give voice to their concerns every chance that I get. I will fight for you. My wife and I weren't immune from these problems either. Before the fire, we had addicts exposing themselves to our children in front of the elementary school before it burned down. We are sick of this insanity, just like you, and I feel your frustration. Nithya rolls her eyes at you. Why? She's not from LA. She has no history with you and your family. She didn't even step foot in LA until 2013. She didn't grow up with you. She didn't celebrate Gibby's walk-off in the '88 World Series with you. She never saw Kobe and Shaq play. She never experienced the heyday of Los Angeles like we did. So she doesn't love the city the way we do. Those of us who grew up here, and to all of you especially, I want you to think back to 1994. Remember the Northridge quake? I know Nithya doesn't remember because that was 20 years before she ever stepped foot in California. But you and I remember how unnerving that was. I want you to picture that early January morning when your house felt like it was shaking off the foundation, when the power finally came on and you saw the horrific images of apartments collapse on top of cars, roadways cut off. Can you picture it? Do you remember the aftershocks for days after that felt nearly as big as the original? How vulnerable we all felt when the water wasn't coming out of the tap? Can you picture it? Now picture Nithya in charge of the city when that disaster strikes again. Is that the confident leader you want in office when the next earthquake hits? When Boyle Heights becomes an island because all the bridges have collapsed? Do you think the bike lane lady is ready to lead the fire department to save you in an emergency? Now we all know Karen can't do that. She'll be in Ghana when disaster destroys your neighborhood, but Nithya couldn't even handle the spotlights at a debate. You think she's going to be running the searchlights through the rubble of your neighborhood? I've been through it firsthand. I've been baptized by fire. I know what it's like to worry if your kids are going to make it through the day. I've been through hell and I've come out stronger on the other side. Fear is no longer a part of my existence. I will never wilt. I will never cower. I will never roll my eyes at your concerns. I will lead. A vote for Nithya at this point is a vote for the continued destruction of our city. Let's make real change. Go and vote Pratt today and let's right this ship.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow, that's a master class in running for office. Also, the one thing I did not hear him do was mention Trump, not in a positive light, not in a negative light, did not in any way say anything about political party or Trump or anything. This is beyond politics for Spencer Pratt, and you can see that. This is about saving his city.
That's true. That's not the answer that I was going to have. At no point in any of that did he ever offer anything free to anyone. He didn't say, I'm going to buy your votes by fixing your teeth, or I'm going to give you free this or free that, or I'm going to take from this person and give to that person. No, he identified just a laundry list of shit that's broken and that he's going to fix it. Not a single one of those proposals had anything to do with using tax dollars from Californians or from the federal government to transfer wealth to somebody else. Not one of them. And I can guarantee you that he's not going to sit there and watch and allow that money that they need to fix these problems go to these NGOs, be stolen, and all these rich. Right. He's not going to do it. So I was completely blown away when I watched that today. I was like, we got to get it up there, but it was too big, so I cut it up. That was fantastic.
That was absolutely fantastic. Go freaking Spencer. Who knew? Who would have guessed? Spencer Pratt, of all people.
Spencer Pratt was the hero that LA didn't know they needed. So, I mean, I don't know who's going to win. What do we got here? Look at that. Herb for Controller still in the chat. Get after it down there. Herb's not, apparently you don't have enough work to do for Herb. You're tearing it up down. To win LA, you have to be neutral and stick to facts. Same with Herb. Herb is an R, but math is not partisan. We have to stick to math. We do.
Exactly.
We do. We have to stick to math. And frankly, folks, I mean, we have laws and we have policies that dictate how this stuff is supposed to work. And when you don't do it, this is what you get. Is that Claire down there?
That is Claire.
So so I know they've got a governor's race going on over there. I don't know an awful lot about this governor's race. Someone came to me earlier this week and was like, hey, I know someone working with the Steve Hilton campaign and they're offering money to come out. And I'm like, listen, my opinions and my content's not for sale. I don't know much about Steve Hilton other than what I know about him from Fox News. Not interested in getting involved. Let them figure it out.
Claire. It wasn't Claire. That was Chris. Oh, my bad.
What's Claire's there?
I can read. Listen, it's been a long day.
So listen, guys, I think it would be super freaking cool if you had an all Republican general race at the governor's level. I don't know if it's going to happen, but if you could get a Steve Hilton and a Steve Bianca race going on, that would be, I think, an earthquake across the country. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's bad enough for these super radical moronic libs yet, frankly. They're happy for this. They don't mind stepping over shit and heroin needles. A lot of them do not.
I'm telling you, I have faith that there are still some normal people in California that maybe really hate Republicans, but they also really hate living in filth and hate the fact that their city has absolutely gone to shit. And I really and truly think that one ad that he had that we played on here where people are like, I'm not MAGA or anything, but my kid stepped on a needle at the park this morning. I'm not MAGA or anything, but the city is really dirty. I really and truly think that a lot of people still I want to believe. I want to see the best in people, and I want to have faith in humanity. And I think that people that live in LA want the best for their city, and they want their city back. The people that have been there forever, that remember the things he's talking about. I remember the earthquake because my brother had just moved to LA, and I remember watching it all on TV, being terrified because my brother was there. And I think those people will fill out their ballot or go in the ballot box, and they will vote for Spencer Pratt, whether they admit that to their friends or not. I think they're going to vote for Spencer Pratt.
Yeah. So I agree. I think, listen, it's going to be interesting to see. So this is interesting. We didn't actually grab any of the, do we put anything in the Dropbox about the, about what the USPS is being tasked to do?
I did.
Okay. All right. We're going to get to this American freedom.
I went and got the actual PDF that was put on the Federal Register.
I know you like to get the big reports, but I'd like
took some
small
screenshots.
little,
I think I put screenshots in there.
Little synopsis of what this is. So I'm not sure that this is true across the country. I think that even though we've got a ton of court challenges going on, but you also the Senate refuses to move on the Save America Act. There's some very, very significant efforts with the United States Postal Service that President Trump is forcing them to do through executive order. I don't have the executive order number, but essentially it is going to require the USPS, the mail system where these mail-in ballots have to go through, to be able to track and identify each and every single envelope that goes out, and the ballot return envelopes also have to be trackable through the USPS system. And USPS, in conjunction with, I believe, DHS, is being tasked with coming up with a state-by-state list of verified U.S. citizens, and those verified U.S. citizens names have to be matched at the U.S. Post Office, at USPS, in order for the ballots to even go out to a person, and then for them to come back to a person, back from a person back into the system. So I don't have all the details on exactly how they're going to do that unless we've got it in the Dropbox. Let me take a look.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought I put it in the Dropbox.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere.
Military thing, but I did send the PDF.
Yeah, that's the super high level version of how they're going to do this. So the Postal Service is going to be required to be able to specifically identify each envelope going out and each envelope coming back in, and they have to be matched to a verified U.S. citizen across all 50 states that DHS is going to create. That's a pretty good. We'll see if that control works, but that's a pretty damn good end around, because you know who doesn't control the Postal Service? The states. No, they don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on this blockchain stuff because I know what the end goal is, because I've been down these rabbit hole. I've been down the rabbit hole, but it's not even a rabbit hole at this point. But the whole, leftist NGO network and their plans for blockchain voting and all of that. But I do understand the tracking of the envelopes. My concern is somehow associating it with a voter, because your vote is supposed to be confidential, and that is a concern of mine.
Well, no. This tracking way has nothing to do with the ballot that's in it. Yeah, it's the envelope.
I know. Yeah, it's only the envelope and the return
It's
envelope.
the envelope.
I get that.
Right.
I totally get that.
Right.
And I mean, I understand there needing to be tracking. You have tracking on everything, including, your Amazon packages. You can track it all the way. Every package you get, you can track it the entire way. A ballot should be no different. That's how you're going to know if it gets there. I mean, in my state, you can log on and see if your vote was counted. It'll say you voted in that election or not. And if they can do that, they're just saying you voted. They don't know who you voted for. So, I mean, I think there's a way to do it that's safe, but that blockchain voting stuff really scares me. So we're going to have to tread lightly.
Yeah. So listen, it's important to understand blockchain, AI, all these things. They're just tools. It's how they're implemented and what you do with them that it can be problematic or not. Blockchain intrinsically is just nothing more than an electronic way to verify a transaction. I mean, that's it. And you spread the verification role of verifying a transaction across the entire blockchain, so that you have non-reputability, or you have reputability in every single transaction, because every single node has a record of it, and they have to verify with every node to make sure that it's the legitimate transaction. It's not a false one. So anyway, we're not going to do a tech conversation. I want to talk about this because, listen, as we go into this general election season, it's got to be about contrasts, right? What are you going to get from Democrats versus what have you gotten from Republicans, and what are you going to continue to get from Republicans, right? So when you compare those two things, Bongino refers to it as the black sort of felt mat that you have when you're looking at diamonds. You put a bright white diamond or whatever on a black mat, and you can see all the imperfections. You can see the contrast. That's what we're going to spend a lot of time on over the next 6 months, and we'll continue to do it beyond that. But this midterm election is probably one of the most important ones of my entire life. There's no question. This thing here came across actually my brother-in-law sent it to me from somebody in Ohio, but this is a Voronoi whatever. It's an organization. It's an application that's sort of tracking hiring and jobs across the country. This is basically a heat map of the hiring demand and open job positions from 2020 to 2026. What do you notice about all of the states that are red that are losing jobs versus all of the states that are green and gaining jobs?
Are we talking about red versus blue here? Because it sure looks to me like those states are mostly blue states that have negative numbers, and those states with the green and the yellow are all red states.
Yeah,
Weird.
pretty much. You notice that down there. Mississippi's the highest. Well, actually, Idaho is. Mississippi's the highest in job growth and job attracting new hiring demand. So I just thought that was interesting. That's a contrast, folks. And you can see this. You can see net outflows. You can see they can track U-Haul rentals from these red states, one-way U-Haul rentals. They can track tax dollars. They can track new registrations and vehicles. Everywhere you see a Democrat state, you are seeing outflows. Well, not everywhere. Almost all of them. Minnesota actually gained 10% in jobs, which I'm not really sure how, but they did. But you can see these outflows.
NGOs and autism centers and learing centers. They're
That's
hiring
fair.
all over the place.
Yeah, I get it. So, I mean, whatever the sort of data set you want to use to try to compare blue states to red states and growth and outflows, almost all of these blue states are losing people, losing jobs, losing tax revenue, losing businesses, losing everything, while the red states, as they free up their tax legislation, their tax rules, and basically just freedom, they're gaining. And so you're seeing probably one of the biggest migrations this country has ever seen, purely on political lines, I think, in our country's history, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we saw migration, in the journey west just to get some freedom and to, have ability to build, things for your families and for your future. This is purely on political and tax and legal freedom.
Well, and anyone
lines.
that has kids, raising kids, people are fleeing blue states with their kids because they want to raise their kids in red states where things are more free and kids aren't as indoctrinated, and people live more normal lives in actual reality and not in these bubbles, these blue bubbles that they've created. It's terrifying to talk to people that are so entrenched in these blue areas and really and truly believe this stuff, because they are absolutely delusional. They are living in an alternate reality.
Kay Posto is obsessed with cow money. She's obsessed with it. Listen, we have to have a reason for cow money. I think we might have missed the excuse for cow money when we were talking about all the fraud in California.
I put something in there about Massey.
We'll get to it. Maybe we should have played cow money when Herb was talking about all the fraud.
That would have been funny.
Sorry,
Herb.
Wait.
I am never coming back to this place.
bet he would
That
have
was a
loved it,
shit
actually.
show before it started, and then after it started, it was just as bad.
All right, you know what? Let me say something for a minute. I wonder if Herb's campaign team is still here. We're going to play cow money. I'm going to find cow money. So keep the keep everybody busy for a few minutes here, SK, while I go and I find
You
cow
want
money.
me to keep people busy?
Yes, I want you to keep everybody.
What's up, chat? Let's entertain. You
80.
got to give me some material here to
Wait,
work with.
didn't we do
He's
cow
here.
money?
He said, "Yes, I'm here."
All right. So where? Oh my goodness, where is cow money? Cow money.
You probably deleted it when you deleted all the stuff.
No. I didn't delete anything, any of the folders.
I moved the other, the one that it was in over to, well, I think into the archives.
Bobby Sauce. What was the name of it? What was the name of it, SK?
Well, I thought it was cow money, but
oh, you know what? I'm gonna move on. Can you see if you can get cow money and bring it over into this folder?
Gender or for controller.
You
My
did.
bad.
Yeah.
It could be a female, could be male.
It is.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure the campaign manager there is a female. I was born female.
Oh, my bad. I was born female.
I was born female. All right. So while SK, if you can go and find us cow money, because I want the campaign to see that. We probably should have interrupted her and played this.
Find me cow money and text it to me, please.
No, we need it. All right. Anyway, so listen. These Democrats.
I have it. I can text it to you because I sent it.
No,
to
don't. Can you put it in the Dropbox
yeah,
from there?
I can get it.
Put it in the Dropbox. Put it in folder 81, folks. I'm sorry. Cow money is a big deal on this show. It's probably one of the greatest things our back office team has ever created for us. And Kay Pasto, who is here every single show, when she requests it, she gets cow money. She gets the cow money. While she's doing that, we're talking about the contrast of all this stuff. Everybody needs to understand that these Democrats, especially the ones in the media, when they are asking questions of Republicans about fraud, and they're talking about, well, you took away their Medicaid and all of those things, they fully understand that they are lying to you about that. They have a vested interest in continuing the fraud. That is all this is. So Vivek Ramaswamy up there in Ohio, who, by the way, Ohio native, just moved down here to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi last August. I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. I can tell you exactly what the Somali community has done to North Columbus. They have decimated it, just like they have up in Dearborn, just like they did over there in Minneapolis, St. Paul. There's no doubt in my mind, before we even found this Somali fraud through Nick Shirley and all those other people, that was what was going on. I mean, we talked about this last year at the beginning of this podcast. But Vivek Ramaswamy is being interviewed by Chris Cuomo, and I want you to listen to just the absurdity of the question, the way that Cuomo poses the question, as if he's like, you know what, I'm not sure that there actually is fraud, and you really just want to take valuable medical resources for children, don't you? That's basically what he says.
In your state, you have almost 1 in 3, right? It's almost 30% of the state is affected by Medicaid in Ohio. That's not what this is about.
Yeah, look, it's a fair point to raise, Chris. It's actually the opposite. The problem is we would risk running out of money if we don't ensure program integrity. So the only way to ensure the people who are actually supposed to be getting those payments, the single mother of 3 children in Appalachia, the father of 5 in Toledo, working hard to put maybe 2 jobs even, to put dinner on the dinner table, the disabled veteran. Think about the person who may be in between jobs, a college graduate who may not have yet landed that first job but soon will. People who temporarily need that hand up. In order to make sure the money is actually available to them, we have to prosecute the fraudsters.
Yeah. So he didn't even agree with the premise that you're just taking away that a third of people in the state of Ohio are on Medicaid, and you're just targeting. It's like, no. If you want these programs to survive, because they are fast, they are racing towards insolvency. If you want them to survive, you have to get the fraud out of the system. You have to. We're $47 trillion in debt, folks. Is it 47 or 37? I think it's 47 now. It's unsustainable. The only way that we get out of this at this point is growth, is through massive growth. And and the only way you get the growth that we need has to come through the AI boom. I'm sorry, it just does. It's going to be a bubble. It'll go for 15, 20 years. A lot of people are going to get super, super rich. Everybody has an opportunity to get super rich off of it. If you're not stupid and you put your head in the sand and say, I'm not doing AI, then you're going to be left behind. I'm sorry. You just are. Did you find cow money? Do we have cow money?
Yeah, but I'm having a hard time getting it to send, and it's on X. I can't. It's on Guarding the Grid.
Oh my goodness. Where is cow money? This is driving me crazy.
Oh, wait. Oh, no.
Oh,
My
you know what?
phone is.
Episode. Oh, here we go.
Did you find it?
I think so. We've got the discombobulator. I don't know where cow money is, folks. We need to put the cow money in the use. Oh, got it.
Oh,
Here we
good.
go. Okay, Costa.
5 stacks in the envelope. Move. Poured up the Cracker Barrel. Said, baby, just let it go. Move. So Bessie in the backfield. Now the cash don't show. Move. Hush money from the heifers. Politician on the low. Cow money. What? Cow money. Yeah, IRS looking funny, but he swear it's all recorded, honey. Cow money. Move. Cow money. Single mom in DC. Now she's singing like a canary. Quincy Institute Award on the wall with the real prize in the stall. Libertarian with livestock trying to silence them all. Gary in the group chat. We got him on the farm fraud. Messy tweeting back. Fake news. I just love my cows, y'all. Imagine the audit, sir. With the W-2s for the move. These are emotional support. Veins, IRS. She out here doing interviews, filling on the teeth. While he's smoking voters, trying not to lose a seat. Moral of the story, never miss the barn with the bay. Cause one bad break up in your cow money on display. 95 BPM, riding slow like a tractor in the lane. Thomas Massey got the game looking like a barnyard shame. Cow money. Cow money. Cow money.
Send help.
Send help. Emotional support bovines cracks me
Emotional
up
support
every time.
That's hilarious. Hey, what's the Stephen Miller clip you got in here? Because does this have something to do with contrast too?
I don't remember because I think
Let's
I
just
put that
play
in
it.
there
Let's
a
just
couple
play it.
days
Stephen
ago.
Miller's always great. Stephen Miller's always great. Folks, I think you're going to have to turn your phones up, your volume up real loud, because I don't think this was recorded very loud. I apologize. Whenever Stephen Miller speaks, I want to laugh because he's freaking hilarious. The dude takes no prisoners. He will scalp you and you don't even know it happened. So let's see what Stephen Miller has to say.
What we found since President Trump came into office is that the Democrats have set up a system to funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia. So as an example, ICE recently asked a group of illegal immigrants that were in detention whether or not they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them raised their hands and volunteered that they were on Medicaid, just volunteered that. These aren't the ones who are hiding it, right? They also asked illegal aliens how they paid their medical bills, and they said that if they don't have Medicaid, they go to hospitals, they get free care there, and they bill it to the taxpayers. So they aren't paying for any of their own health care in this country. It's just one example. And we've seen this over and over and over again. So under President Trump's leadership, and then of course with JD and the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, we are going to see the first ever effort in American history to reclaim the ultimately trillions of dollars that were stolen from taxpayers.
Yes, Jake, I can control the volume, but the volume's all the way up. It has more to do with the volume of the device that did the screen recording of that video, because most of these videos aren't downloadable. And I know Guarding the Grid's going to weigh in and say he can scrape all this stuff for us. But as we go, you guys know this, as we go throughout our day, we see something, we grab it, we screen record it, or we just send the link to it, and then we come back later and screen record it. That's how we sort of prep for our show. We don't spend a lot of time prepping. We just, throughout the day, we just put it in one place, and then we figure out what we're going to talk about like 5 minutes before we get here.
Speaking of not spending a lot of time prepping for the show, I need to take a commercial break, and I'm going to need everybody that's new in here to go and like the video, subscribe. Everybody X out of the chat. Go like the video, subscribe, go share this podcast all over the place, because as much as I don't want more people here, we have to if we want to get this information out, guys.
We do. Oh my gosh, what else do we have? So we've got some images, we've got couple more videos. I know you've got a ton of timeline
cleanses. We are unsupervised, and we don't have a candidate on the screen. We can always play that too.
We did just do a timeline cleanse video though, by the
That's
way.
true.
I don't know if you were
That's
there for
true.
the Cal money. We interrupted our regular scheduled program for Cal money, which
For
had
K
absolutely
Pasto.
for K Pasto. Yes. Do we want to talk about? I mean, there's a lot in here. We've got Mike
We have
Davis's
the
letter to the
rulings.
DOJ. Tina Peters
Tina
was released
Peters was
today.
released.
Do we want to
Yeah.
talk about some of that stuff?
Yes, I want
Do
to
you
go
understand the
off.
details of the Tina Peters case and how they screwed her over, how she got railroaded?
I don't understand exactly what she did that got her in trouble, but I do understand that Gina Griswold that had like the passwords published on the website for like 7 months. And I do know that the guy that was in charge of elections was working to do things a little differently in Colorado, and that guy is a little bit shady to me, but allegedly, in my personal opinion. But yeah, I mean, she's a Gold Star mom, and they gave her a very harsh sentence for the crime she was accused of. I know that much, and I know she shouldn't have been there, at the very least, as long as she was. And I think that somebody in the state decided to finally get a little bit of a conscience and let her out, and that would be Jared Polis. But Jared Polis, that election guy, Gina Griswold, I think all of them probably have some issues maybe coming potentially.
Yep. I think they do. In fact, you have Mike Davis of the Article 3 Project. If you guys don't follow Mike Davis and you're not aware of what the Article 3 Project is doing, you should. You should inform yourself of Mike Davis. Mike Davis is one of the legal minds that was around with the Trump orbit between 2020 and the 2024 election and helping him get prepared for how they were going to handle fighting back against the weaponization, as well as the decade-long criminal seditious conspiracy that went on through everything that they're investigating down in the grand juries in South Florida. In fact, I don't think anybody has a better view or better insight into, besides maybe John Solomon, exactly what that grand jury is doing, or grand juries, because they're actually spread across the country to do this. But essentially, I think it was minutes after Tina Peters was released from prison, because she was pardoned by, was she pardoned or was her sentence commuted?
I think he just let her out early, Jared Polis.
Okay, so Colorado clerk who just received a righteous and courageous commutation by Colorado Governor Jared Polis. So they commuted her sentence. They didn't pardon her, right? So it didn't wipe away the sentence or the conviction, any of that stuff, but basically just let her out early, which is fine. But Mike Davis at the Article 3 Project is basically submitted a prosecution. What did they call that? I'm having a brain fart now. Basically recommended that the Secretary of State and I think the Attorney General and maybe even the Governor of Colorado be investigated and recommended them for prosecution to the Department of Justice and the Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon over there. And Harmeet Dillon takes this stuff seriously. So I think she also spoke out. Wasn't Harmeet Dillon involved in the defense or in the case of Tina Peters? I believe she was, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't
So
remember that,
Harmeet,
but
she's a pretty good
she's the
bulldog.
head of the Civil Rights Division, so
Yeah.
she's the one that would be in charge of making sure that civil rights violations were prosecuted and investigated properly.
Yeah, no question about that. What else? Oh, we had some other court cases come out today. SK, do you want to talk to us about the what the judge called the Hegseth policy?
Well, it's two things. It's the Hegseth policy, but it's also Trump's executive order that he wrote. I put a post up on X about it, but it's a 3-judge panel, and it looks to me, obviously here it's on the screen, one judge, agreed with all of it that wrote the opinion. The other one was concurring in part, dissenting in part, and the third one dissented. So it was a 2-to-1 split, and they only agreed on certain parts, those two. But I put this up here because it says, I conclude first that the equities, let me see if I can read this. Hold on. The equities now excluded from, okay, so the the plaintiffs in this case, there I think are like 12 or 14, maybe 16, something like that, plaintiffs. Some of them are current service members, and some of them are people that are going into the military. They've been, accepted, whatever, and they're like trying to get into the military. And it says, I conclude first that the equities are much stronger in favor of the current service members as compared to those plaintiff appellees who seek admission. And second, that the district court must carefully consider the implications of compelling the administration to admit persons to the military based upon a preliminary ruling on the merits that could be revisited and reversed after a full trial on the merits. As a result, and for separate reasons, Judge Rogers and I vote to affirm the district court's preliminary injunctive enjoining the Hegseth policy as it relates to these plaintiff appellees already in the military, while Judge Walker and I vote to vacate the preliminary injunction as it relates to the plaintiff appellees seeking admission into the military. So the people going into the military aren't, for now, until this case is all over, the people entering the military that are trans won't be able to enter the military, but the people that are currently in the military and trans will be able to stay. That's what they ruled. And people are like making it out like they just like completely, bulldozed Hegseth's policy and Trump's executive order. And that's not true. This is just through the trial and appeals and all of that, the people that are currently in the military get to stay, and the ones that are applying or seeking admission.
It's actually tighter than that, SK. It's actually, the injunction is tighter than that. It only applies to the people involved in the suit,
in the suit,
in the case.
Right.
So it does. So if there are trans service members who are actively in the military and they're being discharged because, hello, gender dysphoria is a mental illness. I don't know if you guys I don't know how many people have actually tried to join the military and seen the list of disqualifying health conditions or mental conditions. It's longer than my arm. Now, listen, I don't have a super long arm. Like, it's not ridiculously long, but it's long enough that it will take you a few minutes to read through the entire list. I mean, things like ADHD. My oldest has ADHD and could not join the military unless he was one full year off of his ADHD medication before he could try to join. So you're telling me you've got this laundry list, like a massive list of disqualifying medical and mental conditions that will keep you from joining the military, but you're telling me there's an entire class of people who are actually protected, even though they're almost always non-deployable. We're talking about readiness, right? I mean, the military is not meant to be a social experiment. That's not what it's meant to be. If you are in the military, regardless of what your job is, regardless of what your MOS is, at the end of the day, you are a soldier or a Marine, you're a rifleman first. And if you can't deploy, that means you are not ready. Your unit is going to fail readiness. If you can't deploy because you are required to take whatever the hormone therapies or everything that they have to go through to remain in whatever state that they have to their mental illness is told them they need to remain into, you can't do that in the field. That's disqualifying. I don't understand. This is the dumbest thing. This is going to get to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to be like, guys, come on, this is the executive branch. The president of the United States is the freaking commander in chief. He has all the authority to issue this. By the way, here's the list of things that will keep you out of the military. Like, all of them.
Exactly.
It's so stupid.
And
stupid.
Throughout this whole opinion, they frequently reference Trump's first term and Mattis and his policy on trans in the military. And it's just crazy.
Fine, who cares? Fine, who cares? So
it's crazy.
So what they're saying is one policy from one president or one presidential administration and one secretary of defense is okay, but another policy from the same president, a different secretary of defense at a different time with different social concerns or readiness concerns happening is not okay. So I mean, that's just not going to, that doesn't pass constitutional muster.
And you have to remember this is after 4 years of Biden being the commander in chief and screwing up the military the way he did and having men in dresses like running entire like sections of the military. I mean, what?
Yeah. So the entire LGBTQIA, LMNOP 375, whatever the hell they call themselves now, they were super excited. This was the gift to start Pride Month that they were always waiting for. Turns out it's actually super tight injunction. Only the 12 or 16 plaintiffs that were involved are actually currently protected until it gets to the Supreme Court, in which another activist judge is they're going to get their asses spanked. They're going to say no. They're going to overturn the injunction, and the policy is going to go through, and they're going to be forced to leave the military. Because I'm old enough to remember where if you didn't get a COVID shot, you were also forced to leave the military. I mean,
weird, right? You would
weird.
think that would
That's
be
a policy
something
that was okay.
crazy.
That was a policy that was fine. Yeah. Because why? Because readiness. If your unit had COVID, you couldn't deploy. Well, it turns out if your unit is all trans, you probably can't deploy either, or even partially. So.
All right.
Well,
I want to move on because I need to go off, and I'm going to need somebody to clip this because I'm real pissed.
What's the topic here? Do I have any material for it?
I think so. I think I put some screenshots in there, but this is the judge's like ruling that he did today on the Anti-Weaponization Fund. I think I called it Anti-Weaponization, actually.
I don't see that in here. I see Antifa appeals ruling. I don't see it in the folder. I don't see it in the folder.
Are you serious?
I'm positive. I don't see it in the folder here. I see Milo worked for MTG.
Oh, I failed.
Primaries tomorrow.
Okay, I didn't put it in there.
All right, just go off. Guys, folks, SK is super mad. She's big mad. She's got all of her big girl feelings about President Trump's weaponization fund for all of the people that were victims of the Biden era Department of Justice weaponization that happened. And that's January 6th defendants all the way to everybody, all of it. And SK's got some thoughts. So let's hear it.
Well, and I need to pull up, or can you pull up? I sent it in our group chat. Can you just pull up the link to the thing? It's only it's 2 pages, but it's not really 2 full pages. And you can put that up there because there's something that people need to see. Or my X post. My X post would work. I did an X post on it too. And I think I highlighted. No, I don't think I highlighted on that.
No. That's the equities. That's the ruling we just did.
Okay. So listen. This Anti-Weaponization Fund. Donald Trump has a legitimate case. He was going to win that case. He was suing for $10 billion with a B, and he said billion. 10 billion with a B, and he will win that case. He's settled for 1.7, and instead of putting that money in his pocket, like the fraudulent person that you think is just trying to profit off the presidency, instead of putting it in his pocket and going and building another skyscraper somewhere in the world, he put it into a fund for other people who've had their rights violated by the federal government. Kind of like they did with 9/11 and people being able to get compensation for 9/11 and for lots of other funds that they've done for the United States for Americans to get redress from the federal government. So yes, here it is. I don't know if anybody's heard because I don't know if they've made any comments on this other than this that I saw earlier today, because the Department of Justice posted that they disagree strongly with the decision on the Anti-Weaponization Fund put forth by the United States District Court judge in the Eastern District of Virginia, wherein the court stated that under no circumstances may the Department of Justice proceed with this fund. And it says that they're going to comply with the court's order. And 15 news outlets immediately started writing that Donald Trump was dropping this. Apparently, Thune came out today to Trump and told Trump that if he drops this anti-weaponization fund, that they will fund DHS, but they are not going to fund DHS until he drops this anti-weaponization fund.
Wait. Stop the presses. Stop the presses, because the DHS has not been funded for how many days? We're going on 120 days, something like that. How many days? Because now you're saying that this is the thing that will get it funded, even though it's been shut down for what, 4 fucking months? 5 months?
I am
Bro,
hot.
bro.
I've been talking about this all freaking day long on TikTok, and I've been like yelling. I'm furious.
Oh, I've got another one.
Congress, every single, and everyone that can hear this, there better be new butts in those seats in Congress. I don't give a shit whose butt it is that's in that seat now. It needs to leave, and a new butt needs to be in that seat in Congress, because I'm sick and tired of this crap right here. Number one, Congress they are the biggest hypocrites on the planet, because do you not remember just like 10 minutes ago when they were starting funds to pay themselves because the Biden administration violated their rights by going through their phones and doing all this, and they wanted to pay themselves each like $500,000? But the American people having their rights violated. And by the way, this is nonpartisan. Anyone in this country that's an American citizen can apply if you feel that the government has been weaponized against you and you are a victim and you are seeking redress of your grievances from the federal government, which is in the Constitution, by the way. It's completely insane that they want to say, oh, we'll fund it now. So those terrorists in Congress, yes, I'm calling you actual terrorists. Those terrorists in Congress are holding funding for the Department of Homeland Security hostage right before we start the World Cup and we have America 250, putting our national security at risk, putting your life at risk, my life at risk, my kids, your kids at risk. And they're going to come out and say, oh, well, you know, we aren't going to pass funding for DHS unless you drop the Anti-Weaponization Fund. Listen here, I hope Donald Trump sees this, and I hope Donald Trump continues forward with that Anti-Weaponization Fund the second that he's able to, after all these bullshit court rulings and court cases are out of the way, because there's a committee in charge. I had some Democrat tell me today that the president of the United States can't bribe people with money, and that's a bribe if the president starts a fund and is paying Americans. Listen here, I know your IQ is room temperature, but there's a committee, an entire group of people that were put in charge of this money. Donald Trump isn't sitting through and going through applications and issuing checks to people, you absolute morons. Number one. Number two, if the government violates...
That was only 1 point? Holy smokes. Keep going.
If the government violates your rights, you have the right to petition your government for redress. What do you think redress means?
That's exactly what this means.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like the Constitution makes this possible. Now, would you rather a taxpayer, 10 billion of our taxpayer dollars go into Donald Trump's pocket? If he was in office to profit off the presidency, why would he settle for 1.7 and then not put that money in his pocket and go build himself another skyscraper and golf course to be able to make even more money? Why is he putting it in a fund? Because he's been a victim of weaponization of the federal government, and maybe he thinks that also American people deserve to get some payment for that. Donald Trump's done nothing but give to this country. And for what? For 50% of the country to be up his ass sideways all the time, including these stupid ass federal judges? When are they going to be held accountable? When are people going to get some accountability? I'm sick and tired of this. And I'm telling you right now, we need to primary every single person. If you have tomorrow, put up the thing of who's voting tomorrow. If you have somebody that's an incumbent running in your primary, vote for the other person in the primary. I don't give a shit who it is. Vote for the other person in the primary, because every single one of those people in Congress need to go. And Senate, I know you guys are lucky and you get it every 6 years, but guess what? Your time's coming, and we're not going to forget this, because this is bullshit.
It's complete bullshit. I just can't wrap my head around how these clowns think they can get away with saying this is the thing that's going to get DHS funded. No, assholes. DHS has been shut down for like 5 months, so it has nothing to do with this. You fuckers can't do the SAVE Act. You can't do literally anything. What legislation has this Republican Congress done besides the big beautiful bill? What have they done? What legislation?
I remember the Republicans, no Democrats voted for it, but I think they renamed like a national park in Texas for Nungaray, Jocelyn Nungaray.
Yeah.
Oh, they did pass the Lake and Riley Act.
Lake and Riley Act. That's fair. So the Lake and Riley Act. Listen, I tend to be from the school of thought that says passing legislation for legislation's sake is a really, really bad idea if you're just trying to look busy. But for fuck's sakes, guys, there are things that we have been screaming at you to do. You refuse to do them. You're playing patty cake with these freaking Democrats who have literally had DHS shut down for, I don't even know how long it's been going for at this point. 5 months? 4 months? I don't know. It's been what, since late January? So yeah, almost 5 months at this point. And you can't get DHS funded because ICE is actually doing their fucking jobs. Like that's their job, to go out and find illegal immigrants, remove them from the country, and instead they have to battle these freaking retards all day, every day in the streets, in literally war zones, defending themselves from Antifa flown across the country by billionaire oligarchs that are funding these NGOs to pay for this color revolution. You guys can't do anything, but this is the straw. This is the straw that is going to get DHS funded, so you can't. These people, I'm done with all of them. These people are absolutely fucking useless. 100% useless. The only reason you will hear a word of support from me for any Republican in the House or in the Senate is simply so Trump doesn't lose the majority. Period. That's the only value you bring to me.
The majority is doing him any good right now anyway, because they're all sitting around with their thumbs
the
up
alternative.
their asses.
The alternative would be
I
way
thought
worse.
of an accomplishment
Way
of
worse.
Congress legislation
What?
they passed, the Epstein Act.
Right.
The Epstein Transparency Act.
Right, which they thought was going to put Trump in a corner.
Right.
And in fact, they actually created the guardrails and put the fence up that made them look stupid. I'm sorry, folks. The Epstein Transparency Act and the whole entire Epstein hoax that they tried to play all of 2025 backfired so epically in their faces because, again, we're the only ones who actually read the documents, and it turns out the only people in there like that are doing things they shouldn't be doing, we're all Democrats, like all of you. We saw you. We saw you. We saw you, Reid Hoffman. We saw you, Bill Gates. We saw all of you. You know who you didn't see doing any of that stuff? President fucking Trump. So total backfire. But I got to be honest with you. I have nothing. I would not piss on these Republicans in Congress if they were on fire. I would say, I'm sorry, you couldn't do anything for us. Why would I do anything for you? The only thing that I want them to do at this point is not lose the majority so that we don't have to watch Trump go through another impeachment and then prosecution and thrown in prison for 700 years. That's literally it. That's literally it.
And the fact that the bar is right there with our Congress is crazy. Think where our country would be if we had Congress the last 18 months that was actually working for the American people and doing what it is we sent them there to do. Handed them the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they're still sitting around it and doing absolutely nothing.
Listen. I'm gonna pull back from the position I just took. There are a few folks in the House. I mean, what's his name there in Tennessee? Oh God, the dude who's all about the
Tim
aliens.
Burchett. He's great.
Tim Burchett,
He's
fantastic. Great. There's a few of you guys. We know. You're doing the best you can. You're doing your jobs. But frankly, at this point, it's the Senate. You guys are just a basket of deplorable fucking morons, frankly. And you're irredeemable. Literally, all of you. You suck. I'm done with you. On that note,
I can't
I'm
wait.
not sure that I have much more tonight.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Well, we have some timeline cleanses we can play, but also we can talk to the chat a little bit. And I need to remind everybody really quick. Again, go subscribe, do all the things. You know what to do. The people that know what they're doing on this platform, on all the platforms that you're watching this on, go do what they tell you to do. The subscribing and all the thumbs up and all that. But tomorrow, Lisa, I am Lisa Logan on X, Parents of Patriots on YouTube, Lisa Logan Substack, amazing. I know you guys have seen her 1,000 times. She will be on Gary Melton's podcast, Paramount Tactical. So make sure tomorrow night tomorrow, whenever I don't know if they're doing it live or if they're recording it and then posting it, but I think it's tomorrow during the day. It's not during our podcast, so you don't have to miss us. But make sure you go see what time that is going to be on, because it is tomorrow, and I'm so excited for her, and she's going to be so good. She's going to be so great, way better than I could be, and she's going to talk about really important stuff. So make sure you check that out. But also, let's talk about chat for the last 6
Yeah, we're gonna start our chat talk with Jeff Larson, who's a thumb-thugging couch Karen over there. Hey, Jeff, let me tell you, you know what's something the really interesting part about this? I don't even know what the MAGA, what the Trump watch is. The only people who know anything about this are fucking Democrats. Like literally nobody else even knows what you're talking about.
Oh, and my
what is the Trump watch?
daughter from watching
What is the Trump watch?
Commercials.
I don't know what this stupid shit is.
I'll tell you, it's a licensing deal, and all of these morons know nothing about how business works or licensing deals, and they think that Donald Trump's like personally out manufacturing watches, or it's his company. I don't know. Same with the cell phone thing. Like they really think that Trump started some cell phone company as like manufacturing cell phones. No, it's a licensing deal. By the way, if you're so good and so good at business and so successful that you can trademark your name and people pay you money to slap your name on their products, you're winning at life. So
and the coolest part about Trump is he figured that out decades ago. None of your freaking retard politicians know anything about that. In fact, the only thing they know how to do is set up tax dollars flowing into programs that get fleeced and stolen. So you guys celebrate people who steal billions and trillions of dollars from taxpayers at their Leering centers. And we happen to celebrate someone who, over the course of his life, had built probably the biggest brand anywhere on the planet. And then he became president, and he's able to license his name because his name is trademarked. That's why it's literally all over the place. So listen, shut up, thumb thug and couch Karen. Get out of here. Next, Kyle. Hey, Kyle, I need, we want to get Rob back on the show. When is that Georgia primary? It's not this week. Is it next week? I don't know when it is, but we need to get Rob back on the show. I'll reach out to him.
Is that the guy that worked in Congress?
Yeah.
And like knew
he was the chief of staff for Barry Loudermilk.
Yeah. Yes. Because the Loudermilk report, guys, go read that. If you haven't read the J6 Loudermilk report, go read it. You'll find some interesting stuff in there.
So we're going to try to get Rob back on the show for his primary, because he's right. So there is his primary opponent in their runoff is pretending to be MAGA, and he's absolutely not. He is the opposite of what we need. He's the fishback, and he's the whatever that moron's name up in Ohio and all of those guys. He's not any of those things.
Runoff is June 16th. Also, I know Oklahoma votes June 16th. I don't know what all other primaries are June 16th, but I will look it up before then and make something to put up on the screen for you guys.
All right. I did promise Rob that we would spend some time focusing on the guy who's pretending to be MAGA that's running against him in this runoff. So we'll do some content, but also I'd like to get Rob on here so he can talk about all that stuff. We can bring him on a couple of times before that primary on the 16th. We got, what's that? We got 2 weeks. I think we can help him out. What else we got? Nancy Mace posting old pics of her and Trump too. So
they're all
here's
drifting off Trump. Drummond did the same thing in Oklahoma right before Trump endorsed the Mazie guy, which I don't know how I feel about that, but whatever.
Trump did not endorse Nancy Mace in her governor run down there in was it South Carolina? Where's she from? I don't know where she's from. She's not Alabama.
Carolina.
She's North.
It's one of the
South Carolina.
It's one of the Carolinas.
It's not South because that's
North Carolina, maybe.
Yeah,
it's one of the
anyway,
Carolinas.
One of the Carolinas. Yeah. So Trump did not endorse her. He endorsed her opponent, and she's out there posting pictures of her and Trump. All right, dude, that's fine. Go after it. They're your pictures. You can do what you want with them, I guess. And I don't live in your state, so I don't care. I got my buckle up buttercup shirt with Trump's mugshot today. Yeah. Can't wait to wear it. Awesome. So you don't like fist snatch? No, dude. He's a Ryan Matta acolyte. I mean, he runs in that same group of people. He's down there with Dan Bilzerian, who, I don't know if Dan Bilzerian is literally a Nazi, but he's very adjacent to it. And we know Ryan Matta is. We spent 6 hours, or no, we probably spent 4 hours total covering that. They're all running the same circles. I'm not interested. No, thank you. I like Byron. What's his last name? Byron SK. What's Byron's name down in last name in Florida?
Donalds.
Byron Donalds. Yeah. I like Byron Donalds. Everything I've ever seen from him in his political career has been fantastic. So I'm good there. What else we got in here? I'm sorry I'm late. I mean, Errol, you are like super late. I know, Errol, you're in South Africa, but man, Errol joined us 3 minutes ago. Dude, you have to rewind and go back and watch the show. It's pretty good.
Yes, watch the replay and make sure you put replay in the comments if you actually watch the replay. Comment on those videos after they post because that helps push it to the algorithm too, apparently. I don't know.
Graham gets Islam bucks. Yeah, so we're going to probably spend some time on Graham Plattner, I think, just to sort of surface up all this stuff. But he's got his own problems. He's getting flack from his own party, which is good because this show, the Patriot Source podcast, and we, even though SK didn't want drama, she was in the middle of it. This show planted the flag very firmly. No Nazis. Absolutely no Nazis. We would not stand shoulder to shoulder, link arms, or accept Nazis anywhere around us or in our movement or in our party. So now Democrats are literally forced to do the same thing. And at least you are starting to see some Democrats that are coming out and they're not happy with Graham Plattner and what he's doing up there in Maine and, you know, a bit of his history, the Nazi tattoo and, you know, the way he's behaved himself. So I've got no, you know, kudos to them, but we need to see a lot more of them. I don't understand why you're not.
Before we go, put up the Trump Truth Dems screenshot and the timeline cleanse Obama library. And then can we play timeline cleanse Oklahoma? Look, Trump posted this.
Leave our crime alone.
Leave our crime alone. Pritzker, Newsom, and Hochul. Is that not accurate?
I mean, it's not just crime. Leave our crime alone. Leave our fraud alone. It's all of it, right? That if you, I want you to think back over the last year since Trump was, but actually a year and a half at this point almost. Think about every single issue that the Democrats clung to. What were they? Keeping criminal illegal aliens in the country.
Woke. Full shit.
Well,
like free shit.
No. Well, it's not even. No. I mean, just on a national level, like where have they rioted and screamed and screeched and clawed at their faces the most? Keeping criminal illegal aliens in the country, right? Like literally fighting ICE agents in the streets who are chasing down child molesters, murderers, rapists, all those things. Assaulting ICE facilities all across the country that is filled with those people that are being removed. That's one. Two, fraud, right? We had the entire Tesla takedowns. They were burning, Teslas and buildings and Tesla dealerships and all that stuff because you had Doge who had the temerity.
Environmentally friendly, by the way.
Not even at all. Who had the temerity? Doge had the temerity to say, "Hey, we're going to take a very close look and see where all the fraud is in our annual budget, which it's a lot. That's horrible. So we got to keep the fraud going, and then crime, right? Trump's effort to clean up our Democrat or our biggest cities in a meaningful way. I mean, look at Washington, D.C., the stuff he's doing with the monuments. I mean, all of the rebuilding, this man's a builder, all the rebuilding that he has been doing and smashing crime across the country wherever he can get to it without court battles to do it. Those are the three, everything that they've spent all of their time and money fighting against. Crime, immigration, fraud. Right? Everything that their entire party is built on.
Okay, play
right.
timeline
One
cleanse
more.
Oklahoma. If you want to know what Oklahoma's like, this lady right here, she sums it up for you. Pretty good.
All right, here we go.
Notice how Oklahoma keeps producing legends while everybody else just thinks we're windy Texas with better football. We gave you all Garth Brooks, Reba, Toby Keith, Chuck Norris, Mickey Mantle, Brad Pitt, the guy who created Walmart. Now the Thunder has the whole NBA crashing out because they're so good. Know why? Because Oklahoma raises people on tornado warnings, high school football, cattle auctions, and pure spite. If you can survive an Oklahoma ice storm with no power, a pack of bologna, and a flashlight with dead batteries, you can run a Fortune 500 company. California makes influencers. Oklahoma makes people that own the companies influencers beg to work with. And that's facts, sweetheart.
So I heard a funny Oklahoma joke yesterday. Mrs. Nam and I were watching the Beth and Rip show, the new spinoff, which we think is pretty
the
good.
Texas Ranch one.
The Dutton Ranch one, which is pretty good. There's a dude who was like, do you know why Texas hasn't fallen off into the Gulf yet?
Because Oklahoma sucks so bad.
Oklahoma
I've only heard that
sucks.
like about 1,000 times.
I hadn't heard it. I thought it was pretty funny. It made me think of you because Oklahoma sucks.
Yeah. Well, except for the fact that that woman right there is not wrong. People come to Oklahoma and you see people that you think, maybe don't have a lot of money and, just down home folks, maybe even driving around in a beater truck, feed truck, even all dirty and all that. Guarantee you, they got plenty of money in the bank and you'd never know it. And she's not wrong. The people that own the companies are Oklahomans.
No, I agree. Listen, Mrs. Nam and I have the same sort of philosophy. We don't want to own it if we can't buy it for cash. I don't want your debt. So listen, since we didn't do unsupervised on our way in, we will do the unsupervised clip on our way out. And guys, we are done. SK, I will not be here Wednesday or Friday. I got friends coming into town.
Hopefully Patriot Dad will show up and not call in or because I can't do this by myself. I don't even know.
He doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice. He's got to. He's missed 3 out of the last 5 shows, and his employment here is getting a little questionable.
He might have to have a little suspension.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Wednesday and Friday, I am not here. I got friends coming into town. We pick them up in New Orleans on Wednesday night, and then Friday, I'm golfing during the day, and that will be a shit show. So,
and don't forget to watch Lisa tomorrow night on Paramount Tactical with Gary Melton. You will not regret it. Your brain will just go.
Love it, guys. We're out of here. We'll see you. Good night.
Unsupervised. Unsupervised. Yo, brother said peace and bounce tonight. Now the fort belongs to the duo, aight? Unsupervised. Let's turn it up. Let's turn it up. It's unsupervised. They rockin' the mic. It's unsupervised. They on the whole night. Brother took the night off, left the door wide open. Now the dude and the lady got the Ford smoking. Unsupervised. Unsupervised. It's unsupervised. Unsupervised. Turn the podcast into a straight black party. No rules, no curfew. Y'all know it's poppin'. Brother dipped out, said I'm gone. Catch y'all later. Studio empty, but the vibe got greater. Now it's just him and her holding down the spot. Mike's getting lit, crowd going hot. No third wheel telling them keep it tame. They wildin' out, screaming everybody's name. Listeners flooding it from every coast. Chat blowing up like yo, they doing the most. Drinks in the cooler, laughs in the air. Podcast turn party and they